Horizon gents, welcome to GX and this is Spider Silk Overpowered by channel Tierzoo. Yes, new Tierzoo video. It's about spider silk, spider webs, I'm gonna guess. It's that, right? Like this, I don't know why is cricket here. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's that. Like, why is it called spider silk and not spider web? Is that the technical term for it? I don't know. But yeah, they are overpowered. Because every time you walk through some place that you think there's no way in hell there's gonna be spider web there, somehow there's a big ass string there that just hits you in the face and you're like, what the fuck? You can never remove it because you can't really find it and it will just like annoy you. It's just there. You're like, how the fuck a spider can make a web from ceiling to whatever the fuck that is? That size. Is it a big spider? No, it's this small spider. I don't even get it. There's so many species of spider. I don't even know which one I encounter apparently. So obviously I don't think India has the worst of it. But then again, there's always some stat like, yeah, India has this worst thing. But I don't encounter it. But America has like Black Widow and like Black Widow? Yeah, some really powerful spiders, let's just say, especially in Australia. I've seen these big ass spiders just roaming around. Just thinking about it, like, I don't have arachnophobia. But that shit is insane. I don't like seeing that. So Australia is a whole other level. So yeah, let's do this one.
This episode was sponsored by War Thunder. Arthropods have been one of the most dominant factions in the game since pretty much the very beginning. The safety provided by their tough exoskeletal armor gave the arthropod player base a lot of room to experiment with new builds. One of the most successful examples is the Spider, a unique arthropod build with a whole arsenal of powerful abilities. But just how broken are spiders? Today, we're discussing their stats, their special abilities, and their matchups to demonstrate just how overpowered they truly are. But before we talk about all of their busted attributes, first we have to talk about the least overpowered thing about them, their base stats. While spiders are some of the most effective predators the game has ever known, it's not because their raw stats are anything special. In fact, if anything, their stats make them look pretty pathetic at first glance. There's a common misconception that spiders are, like, absurdly strong for their size, and although they can indeed lift things 10 times their own body weight, that's honestly not even par for the course when it comes to their weight class. The real kings of the strength category, builds like the ant and beetle, are several times stronger. In fact, much of the spider's skill set is tailored around allowing spiders to take down large prey without needing to be strong enough to physically restrain it themselves. Defensively, things are even worse. Spiders have some of the worst armor of any arthropod. Despite being more closely related to scorpions, their exoskeleton is more akin to that of a soft, plump caterpillar than anything else. Their weak point is completely unarmored and difficult for the spider to guard against. Any direct attack from a predator can easily one-shot them. Their stealth is their only good stat, with the rest of them being mid at best. Of course, that is on average. Some spider builds do specialize in mobility or raw strength, which I talked more about in my spider tier list video.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, okay. Spiders are so like, I think people hate spiders at a level because they're like, let's just go through psychology. What is the parallel here? The way spiders basically attack a prey, use their silk, web or whatever silk to basically tie them up and then eat it. This is equivalent to serial killer in human elements. Like, you know, you do watch those movies and things where every time like somebody just like knocks you out, then tie you up and you wake up in the movie, like wake up and there's like serial killer standing in front of you, tying you up. That's what spiders are, basically. Because any other thing, like just completely bite it like any other animal, bite the prey and eat it, or like cross the jaw or whatever, cross the neck. It's just like instant kill like that. No, spider ties you up and takes time.
Anyway, the point is, what makes spiders broken is not their stats, but their abilities. Spiders have access to a vast array of powerful perks that dramatically elevate their survival and combat capabilities. Real quick, let's go over some of the minor ones first. The spider's appendages may seem pretty unimpressive, and sure, compared to a scorpion's claws or a locust's legs, they're nothing special. But a few things. They do have small claws at the end, which grant spiders excellent climbing mobility, and similar to a lizard's tail, a spider's leg can snap off if hit by a grappling attack in order to escape a combo. Unlike the lizard though, losing only 12% of your legs is a lot less of a sacrifice than losing your only weapon. Many players don't even have the nerve to mess with spiders in the first place though, because of their next ability, Venom. With a few exceptions, every spider relies at least partially on Venom to bolster their combat strength. This gives their attacks bonus damage, making it a useful deterrent on defense, but more importantly, their Venom inflicts the paralysis status effect, immobilizing their prey so that it can be more easily carried and consumed. Because of how low the spider's base power stat is, this Venom often needs to be extremely potent, able to immediately incapacitate its target, giving it no chance to counterattack.
Because of Tierzoo, I know the difference between Venom and Poison. And Venom is the worst, basically. How it affects your central nervous system is basically next level.
Or escape. Okay, but enough beating around the bush. All of those abilities pale in comparison to the spider's signature special ability, spinnerets. On this channel, there are a handful of abilities that I bring up over and over as being meta-definingly broken. Tool use, flight, eusociality, echolocation, color change, these all can make or break a character's placement on the tier list. I think silk spinning belongs in this same category. This ability is how spiders broke the game. It is one of the most versatile abilities of all, with applications spanning nearly every aspect of survival, from mobility to offense to defense to tons of niche utility use cases. Let's break it down.
I mean, this is the reason why Spider-Man exists in MCU. What is a Spider-Man? It's literally just a spider with a bit more OP-ness attached to it. But the whole element is like he can like shoot spider webs or spider silks and move around. Spiders do that shit, right? Spider like they'll just like like literally throw like spider web and like walk to it. It's just like it's some next level shit. Any other insect like if they can fly, maybe different, but if they can't fly, like they have to walk around everything. Even if they can fly, it's an issue in itself. Or spiders, they don't need to fly. They can just like jump, like spiders, like basically Spider-Man, but in real life.
The most well-known use is, of course, the standard web trap. A spider player will construct a sticky, net-shaped trap and simply wait for an unsuspecting player to accidentally fly
Spider
in.
on cocaine.
Contact with the web immediately inflicts the restrained status condition, which is pretty much instant GG's versus a build that can one-shot you if it lands a hit. But trapping prey really only scratches the surface when it comes to the utility of silk and spinnerets. I'd argue the ability to spin webs buffs literally every aspect of spider gameplay and completely negates all the shortcomings of their stats. In general, spiders are not all that nimble, their large abdomens are fairly cumbersome, and without wings, they're far below average as far as arthropods go. But the amount of additional movement options web spinning gives you is insane. Silk can be used to cross massive gaps with ease. It can be used to completely negate falling damage. It can be used to quickly ascend from a low position. And in some cases, it can even be used to fly, albeit without much directional control, but also without the need for cumbersome wings. Next, let's talk about stealth. While many spiders do have decent
What the fuck was that? Flying spiders, that's just great.
camouflage, webs complement their ability to hide in a few ways. The first is just that it enables them to hide in plain sight by positioning themselves away from places that a player would normally check. It's very hard for eyes to focus on something unless they already know the general area to look, so just by nature of sitting in an unorthodox spot, many players will completely miss you. But if a player does detect a spider's presence, there's an advanced technique they can employ to give themselves a better chance to escape. By mashing back and forth on your controller, you can cause the web to vibrate, temporarily granting you the blurred buff, boosting your evasion and—
That is so true, man. It's fucked up. Like, we can't really like focus if that shit happens. Like, what the fuck? This like this, like it's literal our optical issues, right? Like, if you're trying to look something, it just vibrates. Like, okay, if it's just front of us and we know specifically where to look. But it's like in general area, it's already hard to look. Now the thing, it vibrates. It's really hard to pinpoint. Our brain will be like, what the fuck is that?
And making it much more likely that incoming attacks will miss. Webs may be the most useful
looking
for
at it is an
boosting the
issue.
spider's offense. We already talked about the web trap, but there are many more ways a spider can use its webs to increase its odds of a successful hunt. Web traps are most useful against flying builds, but webs can also be cast out as a net to target players scurrying.
This is next. I didn't even know spiders do this shit, man. This is literally like standing over something with a, I don't know, like a bag or something. Oh, come here and just like grabbing somebody. This spider literally just like waiting there with a bag. Come here.
Along the ground more effectively, essentially bringing the web to them rather than waiting and hoping they wander in. Or if you want to get even more extreme, silk can be fired as a sticky projectile to pin down opponents at a safe distance. But you don't need to get anywhere near that fancy with it. Even just the basic concept of using a strand of silk to tether yourself to a surface opens up so many attack options in combat. Let me give you an example. Pouncing strikes are one of the riskiest attacking moves a player can employ in combat. They're excellent for closing distance on a target and dealing damage simultaneously. But if you miss, the momentum from the jump can result in your character ending up in a dangerous situation. Pounce is usually seen as the signature move of the Cat faction, and in those examples, the worst case scenario is usually just putting yourself in range of a counterattack. But for builds in lower weight classes, and especially arboreal ones, whiffing a pounce attack can literally send you falling to your doom. For spiders, this risk is completely negated with a single silk tether, meaning jumping spiders can get super greedy with their attacks without needing to worry about poor positioning. Silk can even be used to approach from unconventional angles that players aren't used to covering. Great for allowing jumping spiders to attack other spiders' weak points. It really is just an incredibly broken ability, especially for the jumping spider, which can combo silk production.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's literally a power. Again, I keep going back to Spider-Man, but that's why that exists. You have basically silk. They can use as a safety net, literally. You're not gonna fall. On top of that, like, you can use that to, like, grab shit, trap things, be creative with it. It's this next level thing. There's a reason why people are afraid of spider. There's a reason why there are movies that involve spider, which are like scary, big spider, ooh. Because spider and their like silk is just too overpowered.
With its excellent burst mobility. We're not done though, because silk production can also be used defensively, mainly in the form of base construction. The standard web trap is technically a form of this, though it's probably the least defense-oriented and frankly leaves you quite open to an attack. But skilled players can construct webs in a far more defensive manner if they choose. Styles like the tent web provide much more cover at the cost of visibility. But if you want to really max out your defenses, the trapdoor spider's strategy can't be beat. Rather than using a sticky web to trap its opponents, it instead digs a burrow and uses silk to reinforce the walls and help control the temperature inside, while also laying out a few tripwires on the outside to allow the spider to detect when other players are in range of an ambush. It is admittedly a bit less precise than more active hunting types are though. Now, if you really want to go crazy with it, most of the spider's usual enemies aren't going to look for you underwater. So if you've got the guts to dive down, you can construct a bell web underwater and use that as your home base while you hunt for fish and tadpoles. It's a high-risk, high-reward playstyle though, given how many dangerous builds lurk below the surface. Overall, spiders have an incredible array of traits, and with smart play, they can subvert just about all of their weaknesses. However, there are still some vulnerabilities that skilled players can exploit. So let's talk about their matchups. The spider's best matchups are of course flying insects. Their wings get easily tangled in the web and can get torn up as they try to escape. Getting trapped is almost certainly GG for them. Reptiles
is so good because there's a reason these things fly, because they're very light, right? Even birds have like a hollow bones and things because they need to fly. So any insect, anything that flies is going to be very light. And once you capture that in like a web, like it's not going to escape or something, right? Anything like something like frog or something would be able to like escape from the web or something because it's heavy, it doesn't fly. So this is just like perfect. Whenever they figure out, okay, we're going to make this like literal trap of web where anything can just fly in, it's like, oh, there you go, dinner's here. Like, of all the predators who needs to hunt, there's like a whole process behind it. Spider can literally just create a web and just wait. Something's gonna get caught.
Reptiles may seem like they should have a solid matchup against spiders, and of course, when there are massive size discrepancies, it can be pretty unfair. But for less tanky reptiles, spiders are a huge threat. Scale armor is great for blocking slashing damage, but piercing fangs can puncture right through their defenses and inflict devastating venomous bites. This matchup also really helps it sink in just how strong Spider Silk is, as even medium-sized reptiles can't easily shake it off. Frogs, and in particular tree frogs, are an especially explosive matchup. Because both frogs and spiders have incredibly low defenses, one wrong move is all it takes. Frogs can easily one-shot spiders.
Even that frogs like two can play this game, had dirt all over it, just trying to, like slowly creep into it, camo and everything.
And because of their excellent burst mobility, it's difficult for spiders to evade their attacks. But frogs can also easily get caught in a spider's web while jumping through the trees. And once stuck, a spider can pierce through the frog's paper-thin defenses like nothing, resulting in immediate paralysis. A highly volatile matchup, and surprisingly neutral.
You need like really small frog for that. right? Otherwise, I don't think big frogs would be able to like caught in like that kind of web. But then again, the big spiders, like how thick are their web? Like I don't know, like something like like Black Widow or something. Like well, I can only remember that one. Like I'm pretty sure there's another one that's bigger than that. Like, but yeah.
Given the amphibians' low tier status. Beetles are an interesting case. They are flying insects, but because of their absurdly high power and defense stats, they're a challenge for spiders to overcome even when caught in their web. Their armor is so
Beetles,
thick
get the
that a
fuck out of
spider's
here.
fangs might not be able to pierce through, and they're so strong that even when fully enveloped in a web cocoon, they can sometimes tear through. Spider players are often stuck just
Beetles laughing and walking away. That's it. That's all you got, right? This is like Thanos against Spider-Man. Like, really? Okay, you're gonna throw Spider? Get the fuck out of here.
sitting and waiting for beetles to either free themselves or die of exhaustion. Birds are typically seen as the worst matchup for all terrestrial arthropods, but at the same time, silk web traps are highly effective against flying enemies, and birds are
What?
no exception. Webs are strong
What?
enough to capture small birds, and feathers on
You kidding me? I would think birds are too big for this shit. Even they get caught. You're probably talking about the hummingbirds and like really small ones, though, right? Like even the big ones. Come on, no way. Like, I mean, not the big, like something like raptors, of course, not them. But even like decently sized, like doves or like not crows. Crows are smart. Something like doves or something like. Wouldn't that be like big enough? I don't know.
offer very little protection against venomous fangs. However, if given the chance, birds will pick off an out-of-position spider in an instant, and the bird's armored beak presents no opportunity for the spider to counterattack. Taking out a spider is worth a lot of XP for birds, as they can also steal all of the insects that are trapped in its web. One of the spider's worst matchups is against bats, which is surprising because it's another flyer. This is because the spider's double team technique has to be used on reaction. So, if a spider ever fails to see an enemy coming, it could easily get one shot before it has a chance to respond. This makes them especially vulnerable to builds with the echolocation ability, as they can strike from total darkness, giving the spider zero chance to detect the incoming attack before it's too late. And lastly,
The spiders are flexing. Look at all the abilities we have. Bats like echolocation, son. This whole other territory. You don't want to mess with this shit.
this isn't a matchup per se, but one of the other weaknesses spiders have are storms. Severe weather events affect web building spiders much more negatively than most characters, as high winds and heavy precipitation can render a web ineffective if it doesn't just outright destroy it. All of this to say, if you take away silk spinning, spiders are actually a real mix.
I mean, to be honest, high winds destroy human homes, so like you can't really hold that against anyone. All animals are probably fucked in that time. Like sometimes it really makes me think like hurricanes and tornadoes. How much wildlife gets destroyed because of that shit? That's just insane.
Bag when it comes to their viability in the meta. But with access to spinnerets, many of them jump from low mid-tier
the
to high tier, with jumping spiders in particular being arguably top tier. Silk really is just that broken. Knowledge of the enemy
What the fuck? Humans are afraid of spiders. Every time a spider comes, people run away. And look at that. No, humans are afraid of snake. I don't know why. Like humans are afraid of snake. Every time they see snake, run away. But look at that spider. Like, come here. That is some next level shit. Seriously, man. Ignore all this. Ignore YouTube. Ignore Tierzoo. Just imagine you're walking somewhere. You see that shit happening. Wouldn't that throw you off? Like, how the fuck is that happening? How is that spider actually attacking a snake? That's some next level shit.
enemy's weak points and vulnerabilities is crucial for survival. This is true not just for
Yeah, but we will go to original video page link and from there support this channel. Tierzoo is awesome. I'm glad he's close to 4 million subscribers because there was a time where I'm like he should get more subscriber. Like he was like around 1 million something. But yeah, he's like like accelerated now. This is good. War Thunder at a Tierzoo, like I would think like history, military channels, but okay, makes sense. Traffic is traffic, why not? Alright, well, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next time.